Doing good, man.
We just got to get our main teacher back and we'll be flying.
No one wants to hear from us.
I'm still thawing from our frozen lake adventure.
Right. Yeah. How was that? Is there more footage coming or?
Yeah, we're gonna do a long form YouTube version, maybe like 20 minutes. Get some good content, but
Nice.
we
Did
had,
you
we
throw
had to
some?
rush it
Did
out.
you throw some chunks of ice from the river in there?
Well, we brought the chainsaw out, but we're like, man, we're filtering this water. We brought the ppm down to 20. We can't filter ice, so we decided against it
Kept it
just for
clean.
the cleanliness of the hash because
It
it's,
looked like some good pulls you got there. Looked like
dude,
you made
we
some
got
good
a
hash
lot
on that lake.
of we got a lot of it too. We probably got over 100 grams dry, and we'll be smashing it on the prototype press that we made too. Probably tomorrow
Nice.
we'll do that live or something.
Nice. Well, while we wait for Kaya to get in here, we can. How was your week?
Good man, getting excited about this seminar. We just we just rebooked our flights. My buddy and I from a hashtag that's flying out with me. We booked through what's like the Canadian version of probably Spirit Airlines, like Lynx Air. I don't know why we did it, but the flights were like $220
Or
round trip.
they charge you to breathe air.
Dude, we get an email last night at 9 p.m. and it's like effective 24 hours from now, Lynx Air is ceasing operations and filing for bankruptcy. All flights are canceled. Please contact your credit card company to like get a
You have to
refund.
file a chargeback on your flight.
Visa
Yeah.
said they would take care of it. I was surprised. I spent like 3 hours on hold with my bank because, and they're like, that's all the calls we've been getting at the dispute center today is Lynx Air customers. They're like, You're all right. There's people who are stranded who are like literally at their destination and had a flight back with these people who just have no flight now and are like scrambling to even get home.
Crazy. So you booked a new flight?
Yeah, yeah, we booked a new flight at like $1,400. So it was, yeah.
Nice. So for anyone who's in here, we are talking about our Solventless seminar that is taking place March 2nd, March 3rd, next weekend. We have it's basically like years of experience jam packed into 2 days, and it takes place in LA at our headquarters here. And we got a bunch of Kaya is leading the seminar, but we got a bunch of other instructors lined up. And so yeah, if you guys have any questions, ping us in the chat. Love to give you guys a little preview of what to expect. It really is a great 2 days.
Yeah.
There he is.
Hey, we got Kaya back.
I swear the computer gremlins always those three just
don't touch
white.
anything.
Not touching.
You're good. What's up, Kaya?
How's it, boys?
Doing good. Just getting people warmed up.
Yeah, sweet. Give them a minute to come in. We're going to be talking about the class, you guys. If you got tickets, sweet. I look forward to seeing you guys. I got some special treats. I'm bringing down some cool gifts. And the class is going to be jam-packed with some teachers. You're going to learn the hash wraps, hash holes. Humphreys is going to be back talking about freeze dryers. And, he's always compiling data. So, his information is always getting better and better, which is really cool. And of course, Aleks is going to be in the house with the machines and, the whole crew from Rosin Tech throwing it down. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I need some sunshine, man. It's been gray in Washington.
Yeah, it's a good 2 days, It's just good vibes, like good people. Everybody's sharing knowledge. And like I was saying, it's like years of experience packed into like 2 days.
It's a good networking opportunity too. I mean, where else do you get to meet the founder of Hashtag, owner of Focus V and Carta, like all in the same house, and get to go next door to Carta HQ to Dab and Sesh after the class? I mean, really, we couldn't have a better venue for it. Wouldn't you agree, Sam?
Yeah, it's a cool setup. It's definitely a cool setup. You know, we got because the way we're set up over here for anyone who hasn't visited before, we have our licensed facility on one side, and then we have an unlicensed building right next door. So, you know, when we're in the facility, you know, we're working with the plant and you know, going over all the educational stuff. But then we head over to the other side of the building, and it's basically like a big sesh. So yeah, it's a good setup. And we got like that game room up there with a pool table, ping pong table, got the pop shot, basketball.
Yeah, I was super impressed when I came up there. I was like, what is this guy doing? This is amazing. Like dream space to go hang out and kick it. And then, I hadn't even seen the lab, and you guys walked me over to the lab side, and that was really eye-opening to see something so open and designed for the function and the movement of the plant and processing it and being efficient as possible, but also like just no corners cut. So it's a really
Thanks,
impressive
man.
spot you got there, Sam.
Yeah, we made some upgrades too since the last time you were here. We got 2 more hashtags
What?
in our cold room. So we're rocking three units right now. We got
They got the record for A
165.
series.
Yeah, we got a 65 and 250s.
So how much material are you guys able to wash in a day?
So we do on the 50s, we're doing like 10 kilos per wash, right? So times 3. And then with the 65T, we're doing about 15 kilos. So it's like 45 times, because we do 3 washes per day in each vessel.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like 45 kilos with the 65T in a day, and then 30 and 30. So over 100 kilos.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. And that's Chris and Drew and how many
Chris
guys
and
you got
Drew and
working
Matt.
with?
Yeah, so
3 guys working with.
it's actually really just right now it's really Chris and Matt holding it down. We're plowing through fresh frozen for sure.
That's
With
amazing.
those units, yeah.
Are you finding it pretty easy or more difficult to source great material down there?
I'd say we definitely don't have a problem sourcing material. There's so many good cultivators in the state. There's different there's different cultivation. There's different farms, right? Like there's the guys up north that are growing more small batch, and they're outdoor, so it's only one harvest per year. And then we work with some other farms that maybe out they're greenhouse, primarily greenhouse guys that we're buying from regularly. So they have just a different cultivation technique, and so it's nice to be able to work with some of the small batch guys, and then some of the larger scale guys that we're able to offer that at a more competitive price point.
Yeah. Are you guys getting your hands on indoor stuff too?
We don't wash indoor stuff. I mean, other than like a couple washes here or there. I think it might just be the market and the price that people want to pay for rosin. Then you add on the taxes in California. It's like 27% excise tax. So you know the deal. You deal with it out there.
Yep, it's rotten. Those people are so rotten.
Totally.
They're so entitled to your money.
It's crazy.
Your 25% partner. It does nothing.
It's bananas.
Wow.
So yeah, mostly, I mean, we're sourcing material for fresh frozen material from anywhere from like, $40 to up to $120 a pound.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's coming from all different farms all over the state. That's super cool.
Yeah.
I know we're kind of doing the same thing at our farm. We've been sourcing stuff from a couple actually indoor farms in Seattle area, and then some bigger farms on the east side that have really nice greenhouses. So it's fun to see how the different stuff holds up in the wash and how it performs, and also to see what people are running in their gardens. It's kind of been a big request this spring, as people are wanting clone stock to fill up their fields with things that wash, because in the past even last year was kind of like, I don't know, flowers maybe, hash maybe, and now it's like everybody's knowing like we want to freeze this, we want to make hash with it.
Yeah, it's always like tough, I feel like, for the cultivators to make that switch, especially if they're used to and comfortable with growing, genetics for flower production and not for hash.
Hey, I grew for a long time and it was just flowers. And the first time I watched my whole crop, it was like, oh man, I don't know if I should do this. It was super scary. And then pretty soon it's just like that's the norm. But I think for most people that are growing, like it's hard sometimes. Even now for me, it's like this thing is so pretty. Nobody's ever gonna see it.
I'm gonna freeze it. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good option for cultivators,
Hey Alex, what are your new features on your new machines? I've been seeing you got like a return pan that's coming up now. A collection vessel prototype you guys were working on. I've been watching that pretty closely.
Yeah, we're working on some cool stuff at the shop for sure. We've been finally found a good partner up here to test with, who pretty much was more than happy to give us all the material we could ever want for testing in exchange for us doing all the work for him. So I think it's a good deal both ways. We're running like 50-pound test batches right now in our collection system, and it's a bag shaker. It's what we see hash makers doing in the lab to sieve the material. It automates that process.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really trying to get to a point where you load the material into your machine, press go, and then you walk away until the process is done, and you just come and do one collection right at the end. That's the end goal. Right now, it's, as you know, it's still a much more artisanal process, and that's kind of what we're going to be going over in the seminar, showing how Chris does the sieving.
Send one down here, bro. Bring one down. We'll test it out.
People been hitting us up already for trying to put orders in. We don't do pre-orders. Once we dial it in, once it's ready, then we sell it. That's kind of just how we run things.
I like the idea of having it a little more automated, because then you get a little more consistency. I mean, I even can sometimes analyze myself when I'm in the washroom, and I'm like, some days I'm on it and it's the same, and other days I'm not. I'm out smoking a joint in between things or whatever, and it might soak a little longer, and there's just a lot of variables that don't, they're just not, it's not an important job to turn a knob and drain a bucket, and you know what I mean? That's stuff that you really don't need to do. There's nothing about your hands doing that makes it any better or worse, especially if you've got eyes on your product while it's happening. You set it and then, okay, that's working good, I can walk away now. I like that.
And it frees you up to be able to do other things that, I mean, it's kind of just the nature of the beast. You got to be efficient, so if you can get a hashtag to paddle for you, that frees you up to go do some other stuff.
We say that about the gardening stuff with permaculture design and all that, like the idea isn't to make a slave of the farmer, it's to free the farmer up so the farmer can go hang out with his kids and his wife and do those farmer kind of things. And, it's not always just being a slave to the garden. So if you can put in permanent, beds or things that save you time in the garden, or hugelkultur beds or something in your greenhouse, it just saves you so much time and effort. You still get a great quality. So yeah, that time factor is crucial, especially if you're paying people to be in there, in a commercial setting.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's free. Definitely. I mean, we had at one point 4 people in the washroom. We were running two paddle stations, and we had the one hashtag. So we've gone from 4 to 2.
Yeah. I know when I picked up that first unit from Aleks, that was really crucial in our calculations. Was we're saving. We can move this person on to something else on the farm, and have one person in here that's just less variables, and it made cleaning, like, nobody likes cleaning, let's be honest, and so much of making hash is cleaning, and those machines are just so slick and so quick, versus using washing machines and multiple bags and all of that. It just becomes cumbersome, and slows you way down, and I mean, the fact that you guys can run that much material with a couple people is like, that's a no-brainer. Right?
You're growing right now, Kaya? Are you?
Oh yeah. I've got I'm part of a tier 3 right now. Actually, there's 2 tier 2s. down in Shelton. We call it Ghost Town with the Kush family. And we've got a big giant greenhouse. I posted some pictures last week. We got rows of, right now we're running this blueberry banana, which is crazy. And
Nice.
the old cookies and the strawberry banana with the variegated leaves. And
Any new coffee crosses?
yeah, we did. We crossed the coffee to the OG Kush, to the Ghost OG. And we kept 3 out of the test cycle that we ran. And we got those up. They're about to be in production in the greenhouse this next run. So yeah, it's good shit. It's like my favorite right now.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll bring some seeds down too. So if that's another thing, you get in there, you got access to me, and I bring my little tote with a whole bunch of seeds in it. So everybody will get some seeds with your ticket. T-shirt. I'm probably gonna hit up Sherlock and see if I can get some more of them little Terp pearls. Give you guys some cool memorabilia to take home, but I'll have seeds on deck too. So if you guys want to get your stashes ready, it's springtime. It's almost time to get them wet. So yeah, we'll have seeds. And I think I left some seeds with you, Sam. I hope I did, to pass out to some of your farms. If not, I'll bring some down. You can pass them out to your farms that you work with as well.
Yeah, it's definitely flowing. There's seeds flowing, there's hash flowing, the goodie bags are laced up.
People got good gifts. The merch packs were good. We got the XL mood mat.
Let's go.
From Hashtag. I'm excited. Are you excited about the special guests we got coming this time, Sam?
Yeah, for sure. I haven't smoked either of them, so I'm definitely curious to try them. But I know you have.
You're talking about the Canagar and the hash wrap?
Yeah, the hash wrap. I've smoked a hash wrap, but I don't know if I've smoked like one of his specifically.
Yeah, the Canagar I've actually never smoked. I've heard mixed things. I've heard people say it can be done really well, and then others are like, "Man, that was hot. Like it was spicy." So,
well, it's a cannabis leaf on the outside, right?
That's right.
Yeah, the guy Liera, he was putting them out, and at one time I think they sold one in Vegas or something for like $10,000. It was like, I don't know, probably a half ounce, maybe an ounce in this bugger, and it was like gold leaf on it. It was freaking crazy. And yeah, they're nice for fancy occasions. You know what I mean? They burn forever. And you got to hit them a certain way, because it does that little coal that comes down through can get hot. But there's a way to hit it, just like if you're smoking a cigar versus a joint. So I'm excited to smoke the hash wrap though. I like that. That's like
the hash wrap is the cream of the crop when it comes to solventless products, because it's a thick, smooth, creamy smoke that you only get from like a super high-end cigar. I don't combust at all anymore. I've been dabbing long enough where anytime I smoke a joint, it's an experience adulterated by burnt carbon, as my buddy Dave puts it. But these hash wraps are the glowing exception, because it's not like smoking or burning something. It's almost like it's so smooth and it goes off like an incense, and you just inhale it and there's zero harshness when it's done right. So that's really what I'm looking forward to.
It's like the European hash joints, but like at another level.
No tobacco either.
Yeah,
European. As soon as the Europeans get involved, there's some tobacco in there.
Do they put a worm in the hash wrap too, or just the herbs down the middle and hash on the outside?
Usually it's just herb, because the way most guys make it is they do the cone, and then he's going to share some secrets on how he does it at the class. But it's usually, the process doesn't take well to putting something in the middle too. And it also, in a lot of regulated markets, when you have the wrap.
Yeah, Washington, you couldn't even sell those.
What's the regulation in Washington
in a tenth of hash?
Like weight wise, or
2/10 of a gram is maximum you can put in a joint. And like edibles, it's 10 milligrams.
How do they even test that? Like, to know if if you're mixing it like we do our hash walkers, we mix the ice water hash inside the cone.
You can only buy 7 grams of hash at a time when you go into a store, and you have to get it in 1 gram increments. You can't put 2 grams in the thing. You can't put 7.
Yeah, Cali is the
7
same way,
single.
except for medical. You can do 2-gram buckets.
They got all
It's such a
kinds
waste of packaging.
Yeah, but the hash wraps, that's a real good one. Yeah, I want to say it's 0.2 because that's what Bubble Man just released some kind of hash stick thingy, and it's got like dry sift in the end, and it's like a 0.2. You get 2 hits, you know.
Yeah, little hash hitters.
Yeah,
Those are cool.
Yeah,
Those are cool. Yeah.
on the go, disposable. Yeah, I haven't
We'll be
got
going over our hash holes too. So we got 3 infused joint products that we'll be breaking down.
the hash holes are where it's at, man. And you guys were cranking them out last time. That was fun to watch.
They've just taken off too. Like everybody's smoking hash holes these days.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to smoke a regular joint? You know, like smoke hash.
They're delicious.
It is delicious.
Yeah, I think the way we're going to run the class this time, we were just talking about the schedule, is day one's probably going to be Kaya starting off the introduction to Solventless, what's bringing us all here, really why Solventless is so special as an extract compared to other things like BHO or ethanol-based extractions, you know, and then we get into Drew, who runs the hash lab at Rosin Lab, so state-of-the-art California facility. He's going to give an overview on, you know, how they run things, what SOPs are, like standard operating procedures, cleanliness in the lab, and then the afternoon on day one is going to be washing and rosin pressing. You know, how to extract the trichomes from the plant matter in a solventless way without using any solvents like ethanol or butane. And then day two is really going to be the super fun day on all the different things you can make with the hash that you've extracted. So, you know, I think we're going to have rosin gummies too, which we've been taking a deep dive into. I know Sam has been. We've got some business calls we've been trying to get to, and he's like, "What are you doing, man?" I'm like, "Listen, I'm pretty busy right now. I'm filming a DIY video on how to make rosin gummies. I'll have to get back to you." But yeah, we'll have hash wraps, hash holes, canagars, rosin gummies. We'll do a little bit on decarb. I don't think we're going to do the same dive into rosin carts this time, because I think those are kind of there. You could do a whole weekend just on rosin carts. So that's kind of a can of worms. And
It's
then
tough to fit everything into 2 days.
we don't want to spread ourselves too thin, but I think with the modules we've got planned on day two, it'll be a really nice mix.
I like the gummies. The gummies are great. I got a couple aunties and uncles that are older and sick right now, and they all called me and were asking, "Hey, you know, which one do I get from the store?" And I said, "No, I'm gonna make you some, because everything in the stores up here is distillate. No, there literally is no solventless hash edibles in Washington's market right now. So I'm doing some R&D anyways, and I got some CBD stuff, and so I mixed that with the decarbed hash rosin.
They're really just so much better. I mean, you really, you know, you're doing yourself a disservice just having a distillate gummy.
Oh, so I stop off at my uncle's. He's 76. He's an old he's a tanker. He was a sergeant in the National Guard, and I give him a bag of these, and then I went home and I ate one, and it's kind of kicking in on me a little bit, you know, because maybe I made him a little strong, and I thought, man, I got to call Uncle and tell him just eat half. I called him and he didn't answer.
Oh fuck!
I called him the next morning. He didn't answer.
Yeah.
Called him in the afternoon, you know, and he said, "You know what? I feel great. I slept all through the night. I slept like a baby." He said, "I haven't had to take a nap today." And I was like, "All right, good. You survived."
Oh fuck! That's why we released a calculator on our website.
Yeah. I used that. I did. I used that actually. And I think I did okay. I mean, he survived. He didn't have any issues. So
You'll always make it through. Yeah. You might like talk to God, or like, you know.
Well, I made sure there was more. So I did like 10 milligrams of CBD and then 8 milligrams of the hash rosin.
Nice.
Per gummy.
Did you do just were they pectin, or what'd you use for the base?
Did you do the meltdown tech?
I didn't actually make them. I had one of the kids from the work do it. I'll have to ask him how he did that.
Nice. Well, yeah, at the seminar we'll be doing the vegan. We use pectin. Nice.
I think that's what
Pectin is the only tech we haven't revealed on the open source hash blog because there's a lot of things to it. What's easy about gelatin is that it re-solidifies after you add heat. So if you're pouring into your molds and it starts to solidify in whatever vessel you're pouring it in, you can just add more heat and get it mixed up, get it liquid again. With pectin, the citric acid is actually the catalyst that
You got to get
solidifies
that
it.
bricks level dialed in.
The bricks is very important too, or they don't set right. But more than anything else, it's kind of like concrete. Like once it's set, that's it. Like you're not getting it unset again. It's a one-way reaction. So there's some cool tech that we've been pioneering as well. Drew's gonna, show how they do it at the lab. But the pectin gummies are definitely, I would say, the
You got to
hardest to make
dial
out
them
of the
in.
bunch. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't remelt them
they're
down.
like too chewy, like a little leathery.
A little too soft if you don't hit it, if you don't heat it to the right temperature. And then you don't want it to sit either. You got to keep it moving around so it doesn't burn.
Yeah, I've noticed some guys take the easy way out that are mass manufacturing pectin gummies, and you can tell because they're rectangular. And so what they're doing is they're pouring them into trays, letting it set into a tray, and then kind of cutting it up afterwards, which is one way around it. But then, you're stuck with square, rectangular shaped gummies. And I think to really have, the finest presentation and user experience, it helps to have a mold and have it look more like a gummy than kind of just a cut up square.
I remember there was a cat up here, Naughty, and he was using BHO. And then we were trying to copy him with the rosin, but it didn't work quite as well. But yeah, he was pouring the BHO into molds, and then when it waxed up, it looked like a little bee, and then people kind of caught on. They were doing all kinds of cool designs. I think that's really a neat presentation.
These were gummies, or this was just like dab art? Like
no, dabs.
Yeah.
Dabs. Yeah. So like, you pop open your gram and it looks like a bee.
Nice.
Super cool.
That's an added touch point. That's why you don't see that a lot on the market anymore.
Yeah. Those dirty rubber gloves, Aleks.
So what's been selling the best for you guys, Sam? What are your top products for your solventless SKUs that you've seen at Rosin Tech?
Everything is selling pretty well. The green, which is like our tier 2, we definitely like the volume. We sell more of those volume wise. But dude, the rosin drops are super, like, just people love them. They're so tasty, and we don't do any added flavoring. It's just the flavor of the strain. So each batch are like 1,000 unit batches, and each one is different. We do a lot of R&D on them to make sure that it's good tasting hash. More like the fruity strains for sure. But yeah, man, the gummies, we just dropped the hash walkers. So these are ice water hash infused with indoor flour. And so those are nice. I like those, they're just like a quick ripper.
Is that like a shorty joint?
Yeah, it's like a 0.4.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
You know where that name comes from? It's a play on the dog walker, which we don't call them that up here. Up here, they're called like pinners.
Pinners.
Yeah. I hadn't heard
dog walker.
I hadn't heard dog walker till I went to California. Same with hash hole. We call them.
You guys call them donuts.
Yeah, like hash hole. At first, it took me. It was like a hurdle to overcome.
Yeah. It's terrible.
It was like, what hole? Like, I don't know.
Oh, that's so wrong. Yeah, I think up here, just the boxes, the grams are flying off the shelf, and the hash holes too. And I'm really excited. We've actually found a partner to do some edibles with. So the solventless edibles are going to hit the market. They're doing some research. I like almond roca, so we're trying to do like an almond roca kind with hash stuff in it. So yeah, that's good.
Nice. Yeah, we use because the hash that we put out is usually like our 70 to 160 micron. So we always have some the other microns that we don't include in our hash. We try to find different ways to use it. So we use that in our gummies.
Yeah, we've got mountains of that stuff. It's just been in the freezer, because you got to have somebody that's willing to take that on. We don't have processing right now to make edibles in house, and the regulatory agencies in Washington just kind of crawl up your ass when you're doing edibles. So we figured outsourcing it was a lot better deal to do. So I'm upset I didn't get any of those gummies last time. I was eyeballing those. Those look good.
I think we had just come out with them too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was actually trying a gummy at Rosin Tech that took me on this whole dive of making a single source gummy recipe, because when Drew told me there's no artificial flavorings and I bit into it and it tasted like dried papaya and the strain was papaya, I was just blown away. I was like, all right, I gotta make this.
Let's go.
Yeah.
These don't have a label on them, but I think they're the Cherry Cabana. I know these are the Cherry Cabana.
It was such a cool way to experience the terpene profile that now that we've been sponsoring some hash competitions, and I've been seeding this idea that I would love to see people do a dual entry where if you're entering a strain, you maybe do like a couple different SKUs with the same strain, one of them being like a rosin gummy, maybe a full melt and a rosin version of the same thing. Because
do like a flight, put it out in all different consistencies.
Yeah, maybe like a jam.
We did the white thorn in the gummies, and we did a pen. We did a disposable with white thorn.
Yeah, I tried that last time I was there. That was nice.
See if we got any questions in the chat. You guys got any questions? Anybody out there washing?
How's the weather down there? Has it been nice?
Weather's been good. It was rainy. We got a good amount of rain, but it's cleared up. It's like a day or two, and then it's back to same 70 degrees sunny.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Wow. Preston, shout out to Pacific Northwest, some of the best hash in the nation.
Woo.
Preston does all the software development for Focus V products.
Super dope. Awesome.
He's the man. Shout out to Preston.
Peter Barkley thinks snake in the grass. That's another Canadian term I've heard for donuts or hash holes. Snake in the grass. I feel like you're pretty far north if you hear that one.
Say that in Saskatchewan. How did you took that thing up in the mountains, didn't you, Aleks?
Yeah, most recently we were on a frozen lake making hash. Yeah, it was felt like a true Canadian heritage moment. A lot of things had to come together. Shout out to my team that made that happen, man. It was no small task bringing a whole hash lab out on the lake.
You had your buddy with you, the finance guy. What's his name?
Yeah, Peter.
Peter.
Had the insurance guy with him. How cold was it?
We picked a warmish day, which is it was just below freezing. Which is, it's like probably 28 or so Fahrenheit.
You're putting a lot of weight on that lake.
I was thinking the same thing. That ice didn't look that thick.
We were only on like 4 inches. There was at one point because Peter was splitting wood right on to get our little stove going. We were like, man, you mind doing that at least like 50 feet from the machine? Because you're talking once you got 50 gallons, that's like 400 plus pounds that you just put on top of
All
a
you
machine.
Need is a little crack. You're going under.
But
would have made for good content.
That's what I'm saying.
You should have added some of them crackling noises.
A shot of me swimming with holding the machine, saying, "Don't let the machine go. We gotta save the hash."
Too good. Yeah, that was epic. Super epic.
Yeah, it was a pretty purple strain we washed. I mean, it looked like a bloodbath when we were done out there. I bet if some local fishermen drove by, because that's usually a sign you look for if you're an ice fisherman, you see some blood on the ice, you're like, all right, this was a good spot. But the amount of purple water we put out there, you'd think we killed every fish in that lake.
Oh, that's wild. And LOS Gardens was up there. I seen that a couple years back. I had given him some genetics, and he sent me some back. The Royal Sour Coffee. We were actually talking about it today on the farm. Um, he's really a cool cat up there doing some neat works, and I know he studied some of the Dem Pure stuff, and yeah, really cool guy.
Yeah, it was great to see Sean, man. You believe he's living totally off the grid? Like, no water, no power, generates all his own power with solar. He's entirely disconnected.
Is he
And
growing his own weed or what?
he is, yeah.
Huh?
He's gonna collab with us on a blog post this year on like how to build your own mini greenhouse for resin production. 'Cause he's a great grower. That's how we know each other. When I ran a solventless division at a lab, he was running the farm for the same company. So he's been growing for a long time. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, super cool cat. We got to hang out when we were in Spain. Actually, a couple of times went out to some dinner with him and Neil and
Spanibus, it's coming up.
yeah,
A couple weeks away. Who's going to Spanibus?
Yeah.
I'd like to get out there.
We'll be there with the crew. Yeah, we got a booth this year, so we're stoked. We're getting a machine out there.
Is that the first hashtag in Europe?
No, we've had a couple customers out there. First demo unit we're bringing out. We've had some people hit us up. We've sent some now because they're big. They're rolling out EU GMP, and when you got to produce in an EU GMP environment, it's very stringent, and there's no using any plastic vessels, buckets, or anything like that. So they have to get equipment like we sell, like stainless, sanitary.
You guys hear Germany legalized today?
That was just today.
Yeah, just today something passed. Someone was telling me about it, so I didn't read all the details, but something happened.
Oh, that's cool.
We gotta get a Jamie on these podcasts to pull stuff up, you know.
We Minty, let's go. We got Minty.
What's going on over there?
Minty's the best. Let's see.
I wonder what's happening in Hawaii too, because they had passed. I think it passed in the Senate legalization in Hawaii.
Hawaii's weird, man. Like super strict in certain ways that you wouldn't expect. You know, you think they're all peaceful and chill over there, but they're not.
No, yeah, people gotta make concessions to make things go through, and it's like making sausage. You don't want to see all that stuff in the back, but hopefully they get it legalized and it's something that the people want. It'd be nice if they opened up the licensing over there a little bit. I'd be down for that.
So you can possess 50 grams at one time at home, 25 grams in public, and then available in licensed not-for-profit clubs, no more than 500 members. So it looks like they're doing some sort of membership model. Those tend to be good for the consumer.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a good way to facilitate medicine getting distributed, you know, cuts out some of the BS of licensing, and that's good.
I'm happy to see that. You know, maybe one day we have a seminar in Germany.
That'd be super dope. Sooner than later. Yeah, I know that. I think they can do some importing stuff too. My friends were just talking this last weekend about some people setting up a hash lab in Jamaica with the purpose of exporting to Germany. So
nice. And international trade. One of these days is going to start to flow.
It's coming. Colombia, you can get licenses in Colombia, right? That you can do all that.
We have licenses in Colombia. We just don't use them.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy this last week from Argentina they're popping off now in Argentina. So South America is about to just completely open up, which is really exciting.
There's like a new president in Argentina, I think, right? It's like mixing things up, making things better.
Cutting down the government big time.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I like that. We need more of that.
Yep.
Do we have any tickets still available for sale? I know we were sold out on the seminar last time. You guys still got any on the RTL website?
There are still some available. Yeah. Not many, but yeah, there are a few. If anyone wants to join us next weekend, shoot over to Rosin Tech Product site.
Yeah, we'll be having a dinner Saturday night and hanging out late at the spot and chopping it up. I don't have anything else planned. I'm not trying to go any little sessions. I'm just gonna kick it right here at the spot. I got a little house right down the street from where you guys are at, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Food was good last time. Nobody went hungry.
Oh yeah, the In-N-Out burger is probably my favorite.
Yeah, we have people that fly in from all over the place too, which is really cool.
Yeah, we
It's
did. Alaska,
diverse.
Hawaii.
Yeah, we had the Hawaii guys.
Florida, Alabama, Maine. That's pretty amazing. Super cool. I mean, to be able to make links with all those people in different spots, it's really neat.
It opens your eyes, because we're all so focused on our little markets. It just allows you to just like kind of see what's going on in different parts of the country.
I met a guy who's doing some stuff in Colombia, and we've been in talks afterwards, and you might see the Roots brand down in Colombia because of that. So
nice.
Yeah. Aleks has hooked me up with some people that got some hashtags up here in Washington, and I got to go do a consultation on for them, and they ended up hiring one of my apprentices, and then I went and got to go walk their fields, and I did an actual collab that's out in stores right now in Washington with Select Cannabis. So if you're in Washington, you can check out the stores. We got the cool little pop vac jars. Yeah, the networking is really that's a crucial aspect.
And you met him. You met him at the seminar?
No, Aleks had connected me with him. Aleks sold him a hashtag, and he ended up getting another one. He's the guy that's got 2.
Nice.
It's coming for your title, Sam.
There you go.
Shane, right? Shane with Select. Yeah. He was the first to have 2 hashtag machines, but Sam had to one-up him with 3 in one line.
I need another one.
I love it. Yeah, if you guys haven't had a chance to see one of these hashtags, working and doing its thing, and you want to get your hands on in the process, I mean, this is a great place to come and see it happen. Get your hands on it, learn, all the ins and outs and all the little, everything that I know about the craft. I'm sharing it. I'm putting it all out there. I think it's an important part of my legacy. I had some great teachers and lots of folks that sacrifice things and learn the hard way. And so for me, it's like part of my duty to share that information and get that knowledge out to folks. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm excited. Get your tickets if you don't have them.
I'm excited to see everyone. It was a fun time. I can tell the Rosin Tech crew loves it too. It's like a nice change.
It's cool to host everybody, kind of show them where we're at, where we're working and grinding every day. And yeah, I mean, we just get into a flow for the 2 days too, popping back and forth, hitting in the lab and then back over here, dabbing and jumping back and forth.
If you haven't seen like a production facility like this that's set up for rosin, and you're even contemplating getting into this commercially, you have to come and check this out. This will really, back in the day when I was growing, this is, I'm not gonna say pre-internet, we had some sites, but like getting into another grower's room, it just didn't happen. Most people didn't even want to tell you that they were a grower when I first started doing this stuff. So when I did meet somebody and they allowed me to come and check out their grow room, it was always like, oh shit, that's how you do that. Or, oh, you'd always learn so much just by looking and having that experience of being there. So
it's like those little anecdotes that you can get when you're hands-on that don't always get translated, in a blog post or in a forum
or an SOP even. There can be little things that are missed or just not mentioned, and those little things add up. So having that experience, being able to come in and look at things on scale and
And there are so many little things. There's so many little, just that in the first seminar, little tidbits that every instructor, had to share. Whether it was Humphreys with the freeze dryer. I mean, he had like 15 different little,
Crucial,
tips
yeah.
and tricks that all just built on top of each other,
Yep. And you think you're doing it right, and then you kind of find out, wow, I didn't even know that was an element that I had control over. That was a variable that I could control. And the more of those variables you can control, the higher your grades go up. You're absolutely right. It's all those different things,
And maintaining them throughout the whole process, start to finish.
Yeah, and having the discipline to make that your practice. Don't go in there trying to cut corners. Go in there with the thought of, I'm going to put my all into this, and it's going to give me everything back. And,
it's an art. Even as we get these machines and as the equipment evolves, it's still an art.
It is to make the good stuff. I'm gonna check the questions.
Yeah. Any tips of the cure process? Any tips on curing?
Yeah, like temperatures are crucial. You don't want to cure your stuff out in the light. Keep it someplace dark. Keep it at a constant temperature. A little warmer, it's going to go a little faster, but you're probably going to change the terps a little ways you don't want. A little colder, it's going to go slower. You're going to preserve terps. There's kind of a happy medium there on most things. And that's something you're going to have to learn too, varietal to varietal. Some strains take a little longer, so be patient with the process. I mean, it's easy to look on Instagram and see, they just show you the end result, but you don't quite know how long they had to wait or what the conditions were that was in. So,
and your dry time, if you're doing air drying, depending on the humidity and the temperature in the air, is going to vary, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So all those things are variables. Sometimes you can control them, sometimes you can't. But the more of those you can control. I'd like to do curing in like the little vacuum ovens, so I can set the temp right where I want it, and just I got it the windows blacked out, and be patient with it. I used to do just exclusively fresh press because I'm a fan of less processing. I like that. I like just do the least to it and get it to the consumer. And if they want to do more, that's fine. But I think that the curing process and being patient with it, and then, doing your whipping to, so that it's all homogenized right.
We were talking about it the other day. Everybody's, kind of leaning that way, or just more and more people want cold cure.
Yeah, it presents better. It's a little easier to handle. When you pop a jar of some fresh press, it's got like a sheen on it, which I kind of like the sheen because
preserves it.
That's preserving it better. But that can be the downfall too, right? Because then they're smelling it and like, oh, I don't really smell it. And then once they whip it, it's like, oh, wow. But again, that kind of depends on your market. If you're able to get it to market quick, then
and if there's frozen transport, and if the stores have freezers.
Again, with that whole thing, it's just everybody's market's going to be different. So sometimes fresh press is a better way to preserve it when it's going out. If things are quicker, then the cured stuff is gonna move along nice and fast. Because I think once you whip it, just like once you press hash into rosin, the clock starts running on how long it's good for. As hash, it can last a lot longer and be more stable. Once you press it, kind of the clock on how long is this good for, especially at room temp, that clock starts running. So if it's fresh press, it's got a little bit of more clock on it. If your market needs that, and if you can really get it out there and it's pumping through, having something that's cured and properly whipped, and then can get to the consumer quickly, and they're doing a good job getting it there without having it heat up. In Washington State, the delivery services didn't even have climate controls in their vehicles. So in the summertime, here goes your box of hash into a 100-degree car, and it's like, whoa, you can't do that. You're ruining our product. So they caught up, and now they've got special units or special trucks that they've bought.
Well, in Jersey, that's we're yelling at some of our suppliers over there because that's they're not transporting frozen for any of the hash. So we have a freezer, but it doesn't work if it gets transported in a van.
No. I mean, we used to drive around with the chest freezer in the back with the little Honda 2000 Whisper Quiet generator plugged
That's all
in.
you need. That's all you need. Yeah, just throw in a chest freezer and plug it in.
Yeah, but you don't want to get that defrost in there and just fucks your terps and your yield, and it's just not fun for them at that point. So crucial tips, crucial practices on harvesting. Like, you can really screw it up. You spend all this time to grow these plants, and you're gonna fuck it up at the last minute before you get it in the freezer. Like, or once you got it in there, like that's just not the way. And we'll discuss that in a class in greater depth. I'll give you guys my whole SOP for how I like it done, how I like to have my stuff handled in that situation. And
if people are washing at home, what kind of time frame can they expect for air drying? Obviously, it's going to depend on the genetics and their environment, but on average, what's the amount of time they should let their product dry?
Your environmental controls are going to be super crucial, and how fine when you've sieved it, how fine you got it, if it was wet when you sieved it, or if it had time to wick down and it's kind of at that perfect spot. I've seen people claiming recently like 2 days, and I've called a couple of them on it, and they're like, yeah, it's not completely dry. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's not, because you can't do that. I've done it before. It's done, and then give it to the homie, and he calls you 3 days later, and he's like, wow, it's moldy. It's like, shit, shouldn't have put the lid on it. It just wasn't there yet. So for me, I think you can get it done in a week, but I like 10 to 14 days.
And it's not a place to cut corners.
It's not, and for me, especially if it's nice and cool in there and it's dark, the couple extra days is not going to degrade the hash in any kind of way. It's actually going to give it a real nice cure so that it has more of shelf stability. So if you are putting out, as an example, 6-star on the rec market, right, and you're freeze drying it, to me that freeze dried stuff is gonna melt in the jar a little quicker maybe, and if it's exposed to air, it could maybe bring on some of that moisture. So maybe not the best, but something that has been sieved and has that time to cure on a rack. It's got it's treatments, right? It's got this cure on. It's got this nice shell on it, so it's a little more durable. And I think that's really the big benefit. The big benefit to it. And plus, like the freeze drying process, it's a harsh process. You're bringing things way down in temperature and pulling tore and
vacuum.
So it's not. I don't know. And I guess some people keep their machines cleaner than others. But just like anything you're putting in a machine, like when I do my laundry in the summertime, I'm drying it on the line because I like the smell of it better. And I got a brand new dryer downstairs, but it still smells like the dryer. You know what I mean? There's going to impart a little something on that. And I mean, I guess maybe some people that they don't notice that, but I've got real sensitive taste buds and old sensory stuff. So for me, I can definitely find a distinction.
You got any tips for people to keep their trays clean, free from contaminants while they're air drying?
Yeah. They've got those really nice plastic deals that you can put over your trays. So you put them in there, and I don't zip that up though, because you want it to breathe. You don't want airflow where it's bringing junk to dump on there, but that plastic shell on there with just unzipped aways, so it can breathe a little bit. That's how I like to do it, and then cold and dark. And then collecting, it's a whole different process, and getting it right into, I like to use mason jars, and I line them with parchment paper. And then once it comes out of that freeze dryer, we're getting it, or once it comes off the rack, scraping it up. I don't like to re-sieve it at that point, because it will kind of take that pretty sheen that is on those little beautiful little hash particles. It'll take it off. I mean, you can sieve it again, but it'll take that sheen off. So I generally just like to fold the paper and kind of give it a little rub. That'll knock it off the parchment. It drops down into the deal, pour it into the cup with the lined with parchment paper, get a lid on it, and get it right into the freezer. And then, handling that and getting it grammed up as soon as possible. And then that can get to the freezer same way. You know, if you can get it sealed, drop the cup into I guess if you got the lid on it, that's fine too. But we've also done it with just the plastic pouches, and then line it with parchment, and then seal them with the vacuum sealers. That's another way to do it.
Instead of a mason jar for storage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that works really well. I mean, it can, if you don't have the space, if you got one of the stand-up freezers like they got from Costco with the little drawers.
But you're not back sealing it, right? You're just closing it. Or you're pulling all the air out?
Yeah. No, you might like pulse it just to get a little bit of the air out, but yeah, you don't
want to suck it too hard.
No. You want that hash to stay loose. And handling that stuff in cold environments is super important. I love hash. Who doesn't love hash?
All this talk of hash reminds me I've got a freeze dryer full of hash from our ice fishing crossover that I have to go press into rosin and deal with soon.
Yeah, get it.
It's been beeping all day. You know that sound it makes when the process is complete and it's just beeping at you.
Okay, there's some questions on here, so I'm going to run through them real quick. The best way to cure rosin without a freeze dryer, sieve it. You want to break it down when you pull your patties out, get it into this, or if you don't have a sieve, you can microplane it. And to microplane it, you're going to take your little drying sheet. Usually they got like squares, like a 5x5 square that comes with the set. And you can drop that scoop in there and then take paper towels and squeeze it real tight and get all the water out of that deal. And then you got your little puck of hash and it's all squished down. It looks like an eraser. You can kind of shape it up nice form and then put that in your freezer. You really want to squeeze all the water out of it though. Every bit you can get out of it. And then freeze that little puck. And then you can once it's frozen solid, you can microplane it, with a microplaner that you use for like nutmeg or Parmesan cheese, right? You just
like $15 online.
Yep. I personally like to sieve it a little bit better. But again, you got to just scoop it out, let it wick for sieving, and then put it in the sieve and dust it out over. I use a cookie sheet with parchment down, and then you can get a nice little thin layer on that, and then you're just air drying it in a cool environment. They're talking about winterization. I don't know. I've always thought winterization is like a BHO.
More of a BHO. That's typically, I believe, like you winterize your crude when you're
that's right,
like an ethanol extraction.
It wouldn't be solventless. You'd mix it with ethanol, bring it down to like -40, which would cause the lipids and fats to precipitate out, and then you probably push it with a vacuum pump or like a pressurized pneumatic pump through a filter stack to get rid of waxes. It's an interesting topic. I wonder if that was asked because, of the discussion on rosin vape pens and ways to remove the waxes. It's a conversation I've had with Colin Palmer from Vessel Life Science, and he had some really cool thoughts on it where he says they've tried this stuff, and when you remove the waxes from rosin, you remove the essence of what rosin really is, and it then becomes something more like a BHO type product. And
well, what are they doing in the process to remove the waxes?
I think they were probably running solvent in that process, like taking rosin, mixing it with ethanol, or they might have been running some centrifuge tech. He's under contract with PAC, so he's pretty careful with what he actually reveals. And it's usually doesn't tell you the full story, but gives you some hints to point you in the right direction. But he's told me that dewaxing rosin, you really lose the essence of what it is. And I could see that being true, the difference between a BHO and a rosin and the way rosin kind of just pops and has something to it, both in texture and in flavor that BHO just never does. I could definitely see waxes being a part of that difference.
Yeah, it's my understanding that when we talk about the trichome, right, the glandular head, that cuticle on the outside, that is the wax. That's where the cuticle is made of, that wax. And it's also my understanding that that's where the terpenes live. That's where they're concentrated, is in that wax.
That's where cannabinoids and your terpenes, right?
Yeah, so like separating that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a volatile process that you're gonna have to do.
You would just want the terpenes and then the oil on the inside, but not the wax. I don't know that it's all meant to be separate. I think when you go down that road, you're like,
You're going too far.
yeah, man. Now you sound like George W. Farmer or whatever.
Make some distillate.
Yeah, like we're gonna fractionalize everything and then put it back together.
We're gonna separate it all.
Stop. Doing too much, you know. Wash it, smoke it, enjoy. You know.
There you go.
KISS method.
That's the beauty in Solventless. It's really like it's a simple artisanal process, but there's a lot of small nuances to it. And that's what makes it so beautiful. It's really a craft product through and through. All right, Sam, what do you think? Have we given away enough free game for one day, or?
Last question, anybody? Let's go, guys.
Well, happy Aloha Friday. It was a long week.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get some the sun has been out, so we're gonna do some early spring farm prep.
The weekends are nice.
Yeah, they roped me into coaching a little league baseball team, so I got to send out some emails to the parents and get these ball players, get their arms warmed up, and but I'm looking forward to coming down next weekend. It's going to be really good. It's nice to get away and meet up with everybody. You know, last class I actually learned some things. It was really cool. Some of the stuff that you guys were talking about, your team was talking about. Really, really cool stuff, and Humphreys really was blew my mind with some of the freeze dryer stuff, and I knew that was coming. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and looking forward to having some good meals too. That's always awesome. And yeah, if you guys are on the fence, sign up. Hurry up before we get too
Come
far
join us.
here. And you know, I got treats for everybody, and it's gonna be a good time.
It's just it's great having you, Kaya, and having you as our instructor is we're lucky. So
you always bring good energy to the class.
You know, we had I want to say I think 2 or maybe 3 people that are coming back to take the class again.
They just want to come hang out again.
And I thought, I do such a bad job. They need to, you know, but they were like, no, we still I just want to come back. And I'm like that. I don't know. That's kind of like the ultimate compliment. I feel like, you know, all right, we did such a good job. They want to come back. Even that's great. Let's make it even better this time. So I appreciate awesome. All the coordination, you guys, and all the work back behind the scenes, and Sam, your whole team back there, just doing an awesome job capturing this content. And the last time was really dope. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. Aleks, I can't wait to meet the guys from your team too.
Hell yeah. Yeah, hopefully they still all want to come out. I offered them because the flights went up so much. I told them, listen, we'll still cover it, but if you guys want a cash bonus instead, we'll offer you that too. So we'll see. I'm just waiting to hear back.
Yeah,
there you go. It's a good test.
I gave them an option. We'll see.
They better
I wonder if they're watching right now. You know, it's not a test, but
never been, boys. There's nothing like a California girl. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great time.
We'll see you guys, whoever's coming, and have a good weekend, everybody.
Cheers. Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Yes, Sam.